A very good evening to you. Welcome to Late Night Talk. It's a beautiful Thursday. Today is Wednesday. Sorry, I can't wait for the week to end. Trust me. It's a very beautiful Thursday. My name is Kofi Bartels. We're back with Late Night Talk, and we do this every weekday by 9:30 p.m. How was your day? Hope you had yourself a fantastic and a very good day. Too loud. We're trying to get that to work normally. Okay, so you're welcome. Today in focus, Ibrahim Magu, the embattled former suspended chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, and simply the way we put it is when the hunted becomes, or the hunter becomes the hunted. When the hunter becomes the hunted, what do we make of that? I'd like to get your thoughts. Of course, yesterday, President Muhammadu Buhari suspended the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Magu, who is being investigated or interrogated based on certain allegations contained in an unseen petition written against him. After 5 years as a face of the federal government's fight against corruption. In fact, against all opposition. Note that this man has not been approved by the National Assembly. So he's been acting all this while they have refused to approve him. And the president has insisted that Magu will be the arrowhead of his fight against corruption. 5 years after being, brought up as the face of the fight against corruption by the federal government, this man was suspended yesterday over weighty allegations of misconduct. I'd like to get your thoughts on this. If you have an opinion, feel free to reach us with your thoughts. I have my guest on the line today. He's a human rights lawyer. He is also a public affairs commentator. I'd like to say good evening to Barrister Haya King. Thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you very much, Kofi, for having me today, Wednesday, 8th July 2020.
Thank you very much, Barrister, for reminding us of the date. It helps. It happens sometimes. So, sir, what is your take on this whole issue? I know it's a very simple and sometimes pedestrian question to ask, but let's start from there. You must have heard at a point that Magu had been arrested. Before we saw that the EFCC put out a statement saying, no, he wasn't arrested. He was simply honoring an invitation. We heard it was DSS and DSS denied, and we had FCID, that's the False Criminal Investigation Department. We heard he was in the DSS office complex, headquarters in Abuja. And then we had, no, he's in a conference room or conference hall somewhere in Aso Rock Villa. Sir, what was your initial reaction when you first heard that Magu had been caught, arrested?
Well, my initial reaction is that nobody is above the board. Nobody is above being questioned. That is to tell you, I want to repeat again, let me say General Muhammadu Buhari. This now goes to show that General Muhammadu Buhari as a person does not have any sacred cow, does not have any a person that will say, this is my main man, that is no untouchable. Buhari is ready to sacrifice anybody, irrespective of the relationship you have with Buhari. Let me say this again. Buhari is ready to sacrifice his own son, his own wife, his own daughter. If you get involved in things that is unethical, Buhari will be the last person to call to say release him or release her or help or do. I am telling you from experience, Buhari will not call.
So are you saying that this is it's a plus for President Muhammadu Buhari?
I'm talking about President Muhammadu Buhari. I'm talking about Muhammadu Buhari.
Okay.
Now coming to as President Muhammadu Buhari. President Muhammadu Buhari may not be as pure as I'm thinking as Muhammadu Buhari. President Muhammadu Buhari may not be as pure as Muhammadu Buhari. Then the presidency is another ball game. So I don't know where this is coming from, but if Muhammadu Buhari, not as a president, if Muhammadu Buhari as a person did not sanction, they won't touch Magu. That is to tell you that anybody can be given out so long you are found wanted.
Okay.
Buhari will say, to Chikena, go and answer. After you please go, that is how he behaves. That is how I can tell you that. But again, now, some aspects, some people have also said that corruption is fighting back. Definitely, corruption will fight back.
Okay.
Definitely, it will fight back. Now, whether Magu is innocent or not is another ballgame. If you know that corruption will fight back, being in that sensitive position, you have not been confirmed for the past 5 years. People are fighting against you. You should be above board. You should have done the right thing. You should have kept your slate clean. You should have been, when they look, they won't see anything. Why would you allow them to see something to the extent that you are indicted? Because you are an indictment. It is only when you are indicted you'll be called to come and answer those questions. Because if you're not indicted, so why would you allow them to get to that level? That is for personally, that is for Magu himself. I don't know what he has done. But whatever he has done, if he is found guilty, let the law take his course. Because other people, he has been saying this on television too and radio. Anybody, he said nobody, I quote Magu say, nobody is above the law. Anybody that commits a crime, EFCC will come after you. So the same EFCC has come after him. So if he has committed a crime, let him face it. Talking like Buhari now, I'm talking like Hayati, let him face it.
Okay.
But if he has not done anything, this is mere witch hunting. Let the people who are trying to set him up, let them be arrested and let them face the law of witch hunting for false allegation, for malicious prosecution, for malicious information. You can be arrested for false information and jail. So let it be investigated thoroughly. Thank God Buhari has removed his hand. Buhari is no longer inside. Now President Buhari may be inside because of party affiliation.
Okay.
Now Buhari is a different person. President Buhari is a different person. Then the presidency is different. I say this again. If the people working with Buhari presidency, I'm not saying the APC government is not corrupt, so don't put me like that. I didn't say so. It may also be corrupt because of the people around. I'm talking about Buhari as a person. Buhari as a person, I may tell you that. What does he need at 78, 79, 80 years old? What does he need? To wife or new house or new what? Why doesn't he need those things? The people around him are the ones that are corrupt. President that I'm talking.
Okay.
So if the people around Buhari, 45-50% of them have the mind of Buhari, Nigeria would have been better in the last 5 years.
Okay.
But I don't see it getting better because of the issue of presidency, President Buhari. That's a very big institution. Especially the presidency. It doesn't allow it to happen. So it's the same thing that's happening to Magu now.
Okay.
The same thing. The people doing this thing now, that may have done this thing now, they are part of the president and the presidency.
Okay.
And Buhari will now say, okay, I will not be a cause in the wheel of progress. Go and answer for whatever you have done. And if you have done, I can tell you, Buhari will not even put a call to anybody. But Magu will go to jail. Nobody will save him. That is kind of mindset Buhari has. And if a lot of people around him have it, but unfortunately, they don't have it. The people around him, they are politicians. But he's not really a politician, so to say. Politicians in quotes. He may not do what other politicians are doing. Okay. Remember, this man have retired. They say, come, we are going to vote you in. I give another example. If a lot of people working with Buhari presently,
yes,
they may not be people that Buhari wants. But the presidency and the president says he must be there. And they are there.
Hold on, sir.
Hold
on. I need to understand you. You're saying the people, because you...
I said some of the people working with Buhari now, ministers, essays and all that, they may not be the people Buhari as a person wants. But the presidency wants them, and he has no choice than to put them there.
Now you're going to make me ask, because you keep drawing a line or difference between Mr. Muhammadu Buhari, the person, and Muhammadu Buhari, the president. And now again you are saying that the person that Buhari or the people that Buhari would want to work with are not the people that the presidency wants. So I have to say and ask this famous or infamous question: who is the presidency hierarchy?
Muhammadu Buhari is the man that was elected to become the president. The president is a different person. The president is the commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He has constitutional duty, he has things to do, and he must follow the rule of law.
Okay.
He must follow, there are things he cannot do, even if he wants to do them. Okay. But the presidency is bigger than the president and Muhammadu Buhari and Abakari, everybody. Sorry, Abakari late. And even Magu, everybody bigger than. And that is the presidency that we are talking about. The presidency is corrupt. The presidency
can you divorce the presidency from the president?
When I mean corrupt does not mean only evil. Corrupt, let me tell you, when you fail to do what you ought to do,
yes,
or do what you ought not to do, is corruption. It's not only when you steal money. People think corruption is when you steal. You fail to do what you ought to do,
yes,
or you did what you ought not to do, it's corruption. Favoritism. Hierarchy, and are you okay? Go. It's corruption. You have just done corruption. What you shouldn't have allowed you to buy, go. Or what you shouldn't have, privilege you shouldn't have given to me, you give it. It's corruption. Okay. And the presidency will do that. The president will do that. But why the president may not want to do that? But the
so who is, sir, Who is the presidency? Because when you say
The
that,
president is the elected man. The people that people elected.
yeah. So so who is the president? Who are these people you are saying is the presidency? If you're saying the president is different from the presidency, who is the presidency?
Nobody has been able to define the presidency. The presidency is too big. It's bigger than everybody, even in America. The presidency is bigger than Donald Trump. It's the presidency that we are talking about in America that Donald Trump to humble himself.
Donald Trump runs the show in the confines of the Constitution of the United States of America. But he still calls the shots, because if he's not calling the shots...
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
Haven't you seen Donald Trump expressing dissatisfaction with some things?
Because okay, go on.
Dissatisfaction with some things.
Many times.
Frustration.
But he can't do anything about it.
Frustrating him.
Yes.
For instance, his probe and his almost impeachment trial. It was the presidency that did it. He couldn't have stopped it. Are you telling me that if Donald Trump wanted to stop that, he wouldn't have stopped it?
But hacking, Donald Trump he had to act within the confines of the Constitution of the United States of America.
That is the presidency. You saw when he was even abusing them, he almost was going verbal and going abusive.
Yes.
It's the presidency that is acting there. He couldn't do anything. If Donald Trump has the power to stop that probe or that trial at the issue, he would just say, come on, everybody, come and remove the hand, they will remove the hand. But he cannot say so. It's the same thing we have in Nigeria. The president is so powerful. The president is not one man. He's even bigger than the president himself.
Okay.
So that is why the corruption is still festering, irrespective of the fight against it. That is why people are surprised. I went somewhere today, somebody was saying, how can Buhari allow them to catch Magu? I said, this is not about Buhari now. It's about the presidency. It's not Buhari. I will give you another example.
Okay.
During 1993 election, Babangida annulled the election. Is it not true? The Abiola election.
Yes.
But Babangida said, I annulled it. But Babangida came out to say, I annulled the presidential election, but I didn't do it alone. Meanwhile, I take responsibility. He couldn't have done it alone. Who is Babangida to wake up and annul that June 12 election? He couldn't have personally. We know that he cannot. The president say don't annul it, and he annuls it. He can't do it. I'm trying to let you know. As a person, he can't.
So Babangida was the military head of state.
It doesn't matter. It's even more hard now. It's more harder in this democracy than the military.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
And he couldn't do it.
So who were those?
Couldn't do it.
Are you saying there are powers that were in Babangida's time?
Himself.
Who were these powers? Who are these powers, sir?
It is the presidency that even bigger than no head of state can try it anyway. Even the maximum ruler, you still have this presidency issue.
So in America, in America, we're talking about the Constitution of the United States of America. We're talking about the arms of government that serve as check and balance on each other. But in Nigeria, when we talk about the presidency of the United States of America, we know what we're talking about. We know who we're dealing with. In Nigeria, who are we dealing with? Obviously not the Constitution, because the Constitution gives the president almost unilateral powers to act how he wants.
What I'm trying to say is that the presidency all over the world is too big. One man cannot control it alone. That was why I gave you the example of Babangida.
Okay.
Babangida said, I couldn't have done that alone. But again, I take responsibility being the head. Babangida wouldn't just wake up from his bedroom in December at that time and don't come out and just go and annul the election. Who is he? He can't do it. You can't. The president is bigger than him. People sat down and said, do it. That's what I'm trying to let you know. And that's why I say the presidency is corrupt all over the world. Haven't you heard what this man said on Fidel Castro's favorite quote? He said, any crime that is unsolvable, the government has a hand in it. Government, the presidency is everywhere in the country. They are corrupt. They are evil. They are murderers. They are everything you can think of. Espionage, nothing. Government does all these things. That is why they know if they want to flush it out, they can flush it out. Even in America, not just Nigeria, all over the world, they have spies, espionage, murderers. Everything is in the presidency. That's why one man, you can't control it. It's a big place. That is what is happening right now. Even if let me assume that Buhari as a person, Magu is his cousin, and wanted to protect him, but at this point he cannot. But Buhari as a person is quite different. He's something that would have said, I am telling you from experience, I am telling you what I know. I won't mention why I'm saying so. He will not put a call for anybody. Buhari will not put a call to call anybody, say, help this man. He will not do that.
But I mean, so you're saying even if he wanted to protect Magu at all costs,
he cannot.
He can't.
He will not even do it. I am saying that he will not even do it. And even if he wants to do it, he cannot at this point. He can no longer do it. He cannot do it. Magu must face his warrant. That is how it goes. So what I'm saying is that I'm not like in any way protecting Magu, for instance. I'm not protecting Magu. I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm not also saying he's guilty. But again, let him go and sanitize him. So it's the same thing he has been doing to others now. He has been arresting people all this while, and they are facing the law. Some of them have gotten out, while some have been convicted and all that. I think the other day he was on television. He said he has gotten EFCC has gotten 1,000 something convictions.
Yes.
That is not. What I'm saying is that what is happening now is also good for Nigeria. Before now, we've been saying that it's one-sided. I agree it's one-sided somehow. Because if you look at the percentage ratio of people that have been arrested and prosecuted, it appears to be from one side of the party. But right now, one Magu, I said somewhere today that one Magu is like 100 other persons. Like you said in your opening speech, the hunter is now haunted. Where is he going to go? And again, who is hunting the hunter? The chief hunter is now being haunted. It's a serious matter. That is to tell you that it's a very, very serious matter. I said it also said this. Other people are around now thinking that they are with Buhari. Don't be surprised. Don't deceive yourself that they are hearing me. Don't think you are with Buhari. Buhari is not somebody to be with. Buhari will give you out when you commit. Buhari will not protect you. That is him. Even though he's dancing around now, clapping that they have nailed Magu, they have nailed Magu. So their turn tomorrow. It may be their turn tomorrow.
So hierarchy. You're saying that that the man Muhammadu Buhari does not condone, does not
No, he doesn't. Actually, Buhari will not
condone, acts of corruption and all that. But that if Magu had to defend himself because of who Buhari is. If all the allegations brought against him, he won't say, "Oh, Magu, no, nobody touch him." There's no untouchable.
He won't.
Okay, so you are saying
not just Magu.
So
only other person. He will not.
So you are saying that there are no untouchables as far as President Muhammadu Buhari is concerned.
Come again.
You are saying this whole episode shows that there are no untouchables as far as President Muhammadu Buhari.
No untouchable. Nobody is untouchable. No. For Buhari, nobody is untouchable. I can beat my chest and tell you that.
Okay.
Nobody. I won't reveal why I'm saying so.
Okay.
No, nobody is untouchable under Buhari. No, anybody can be touched, including his wife.
I see.
Including his wife. Including Aisha, I'm telling you.
But Barrister, I'll come back to that. I just want to welcome those who are watching us live on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on Instagram. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for joining us. I'd like you to do a favor if you're watching on Facebook. Please, first of all, like the page, follow the page, share this post. Very important. Stay here, don't go, but share this post so that your friends, those on your timeline, on your Facebook, can watch what's going on here. Also, press the notification button, which is on this post. Hit that notification button. Then when we are done, before you leave my page, please like my page and follow my page as well. If you're watching on Twitter, thanks for joining me. Please retweet this post, like it, and drop a comment. Facebook to drop a comment. If you're watching on Instagram, please drop a comment. Okay, can you see me, Instagram people? I need to move this way a bit for them. Okay, if you're watching on YouTube, please drop a comment, share the post, the video, subscribe to my channel, and press the notification button. Thank you very much. My guest tonight is a human rights lawyer, advocate, sir. Okay, and of course, he's a lawyer based in Port Harcourt. His name is Haya King, and he's here to discuss Magu, when the hunter becomes the hunted. Wait till me that song, way to face them. Sing, guys. Sorry, sir, I have an audience here. One day bushmeat go catch the hunter. Remember sing. One day bushmeat go catch. One day bushmeat go catch the hunter, catch the hunter, catch the hunter. Amen. All right. It's all right. So this is the case of Ibrahim Magu, the embattled, suspended chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. I want to welcome Mazi Basil Nwokore, who is on Facebook. He says, yes, Magu's case is a big fish, but whose net caught it? Whose net caught that fish? In fact, it is a bomb that begged for expression, he says. Then who detonated it? Here we have the blast. Boom, he says. And the dust is all over. Debris falling over each other, he says. Everywhere. Who bears the tail? Who lurks in the dark? Hey, this one, real literature. He says, this is the end of the story, but then watch out, as in Nollywood, for the emerging event, the unfolding story. Under its shadows is just a harbinger. Then why should I wonder when it's morning yet on Creation Day? Mazi Basil Nwokore, this thing is deep, interesting. Thank you. Allah Pepple says, not today. It says error, big fat corrupt explanation. It says President of Nigeria is now Constitution of Nigeria. Okay. I'm sure in response to hiking. Please share this post so that all your friends can come along and be a part of the conversation. Mr. Hayaki, you've said that as far as President Muhammad, you've said as far as President Buhari is concerned, there are no sacred cows.
No.
Some people will disagree with you to say there are people who have had petitions written against them in the Buhari administration. There are persons who have had corruption allegations, against them in the administration, and they have not been asked to go answer petitions. And you know what I'm talking about. I don't need to explain further because you know what I'm talking about. People have petitions that are even with the EFCC, and they have not been asked to answer to any panel. So how do you now defend your statement that there are no sacred cows in the Buhari administration, and the trial or the travails of Magu is proof of that?
Let me say something like I said again. The presidency may protect you. The president may protect you. Buhari will not protect you. I say it again. Let me tell you, I was saying something initially. I said in 2015, if you remember,
okay,
Buhari was retired. I'm not going to contest again. Some people say, no, Baba, come and contest. We are going to sponsor. A lot of people, a lot of them sponsor. And at the end of the day, you expect the presidency to tell them we are not going to give you appointment, even when Buhari as the president doesn't want to give him appointment. Buhari can't stop such a thing.
So therefore, that sounds like a perfect definition for sacred cow.
No, not sacred cow. That is why I told you. I first of all told you how powerful the president and the presidency is.
Okay.
You cannot. Those kind of people, there are people, even in Rivers State, there are people working with Wike that Wike doesn't want in the cabinet. But they must be there. I use the word must be there. They must be there as ministers because they work for the party. It's a party thing. It is even easier under the military than under democracy for you to exhibit what you want to happen. Under democracy, it's difficult. You have to pass through this, pass through that, pass through this. I'm not saying it's bad. But that is the beauty of it. You have to lobby and lobby and lobby. Haven't you heard that they pay money to National Assembly to pass the bill? Haven't you heard it before? Give me that. What is padding? This padding is pay them money. Now you pad for them. You pad it for them. Give them their own copy before they sign bill for you. Budget and all. Is it not true? So what are we talking about?
So are you saying that yeah, go on please. The
presidency will do that. But Buhari may not want to do that. And they'll tell him, Baba, don't worry, relax, we are going to do it. They will do it. There's nothing you can do about it. Is it not the same government that told us that they're not going to sustain subsidy when they first came? But when they got there, the presidency looked at it and said, no, we can't stop this thing. And they continue paying subsidy. Is it not true? So that's what I'm trying. The demarcation I'm trying to make is for people to understand that at times, as a president or as a governor, you are handicapped because of state One of the American presidents said, "What we do in the name of for country, for America and for country, that is the name of it. If we explain it, that people will."
For God and country.
President said so. Yes.
For
God and country. Yes. So what we do for God and country in America, if we explain it, people will die. You will. There's mess going on. Okay. During this man Watergate scandal.
Yes.
When they arrested, almost everybody was in.
Richard Nixon.
Richard Nixon, yes. Almost everybody. You know what he said? I love that man. Let me one of my favorite quotes from him. The day he was about to face the Senate committee in America. Okay. When he came to the Senate committee, he looked at them. You know what he told them? He said, if the president cannot protect the information he gets, he cannot get the information he needs to run the country. The same thing which applies to Nigeria. Did you hear that? He said, if the president cannot protect the information he gets, he cannot get the information he needs to run the country. I hereby resign. That was the end of it. You remember, he was not indicted. He was indicted, but after the Senate committee questioning, they just let him go. Just resign and go. No further interrogation, nothing. Nobody went to jail. That was what happened. What was Watergate scandal? They went to bug the house of the headquarters of the opposition party, and they were listening to what they were doing. And some people, the presidency did it, not Nixon. The presidency did it, and he cannot even say no to it. He went and bugged that place, and he needed for the party, for God and country.
Okay.
But when the thing leaked, it became a problem. He just gave them. I love that quotation. If I cannot get the information I need to run this country, so if I cannot protect the information I need, I get to run this country. I cannot get the information. How will you get the information when you cannot protect it? So these are some of the things that happened in the presidency.
Okay, Hi King, please hold the thought. I want to just go back to what the presidential advisory committee against corruption was said to have said. I'm sure you've been following this particular one, where a statement was released on the behalf of the Presidential Advisory Committee against corruption by Professor Femi Odekunle, who is a member of that committee. And he said in that statement released on Monday evening that the arrest of Ibrahim Magu was a result of power play between Magu and a power bloc at the federal level led by the Attorney General of the Federation, Malami. That's what he said. He also said that Magu is innocent, but because of the power play, he is a victim of that power play. What do you make of this? The whole, what do you call it again? The whole plot. Because I would like you, sir, to talk about that in the light of the fact that another member of that committee, Professor Issei Sage, has distanced himself from Professor Femi Odekunle. These are two professors who are, playing discordant tunes. So Issei Sage says that the man Odekunle did not speak for PACAC on Magu's case.
Well, if that is actually the fact, then it's very, very unfortunate. That was why I said in my opening speech that I am not saying Buhari Magu or not, but again that the presidency is powerful to the extent that they can do and undo. That's what I said. That was why I attributed all manner of evil to the presidency, not just Nigeria presidency, all over the world. It happens all over the world. It's for the America calls it for God and country. They do a lot of things under that phrase. So the same thing in Nigeria, for God and country. They tell you for sovereignty of Nigeria, for national interest. So if Adekunle actually saw that and said that, then there is a problem, that Magu will have to come out of it clean at the end of the day. Then if that is true, then the power play to the extent that Magu did not do anything. Is that it? If that is correct, then it's so bad.
Okay.
It's very, very bad. That is why they have, even those doing the power play should watch it, because the same measure you measure today with Magu, it will be used against you tomorrow. You begin to shout. It's the same thing, because if you sow a seed, you reap the same thing. If you now hide under the presidency, power play, which is what I'm talking about, the powerful power play and disgrace Magu, flush out Magu, it will come to you. The same thing will come to you. That is just the truth about it. You can't run away from it.
Okay.
But if Magu, if what they are using power play hiding under the presidency, and Magu have done something, then it is also another thing they refuse to protect him. They say, okay, go and face it. Then he has to face it. That's the truth about it.
Okay, Hakim, permit me to read some of the things that Femi Adekunle, professor, a member of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, said. Speaking after Magu appeared before the panel investigating the allegations against him, Adekunle accused Abubakar Malami, SAN, the AGF, Attorney General Federation, of being the arrowhead of power blocks. So I want you to know that, so you tell me what power blocks that want Magu out of office. And I now reference what you said, because I wrote it down, that corruption is fighting back. So I'm going to underline what I wrote down, and we'll come back to that. Power blocks. He said, quote, This is a preliminary reaction to the Presidential Advisory Committee, PACAC, to the alleged arrest of Magu, blah, blah, blah. He says, the real information reaching us is that he was only invited to appear before a panel set up not long ago concerning some alleged memo by Malami, Attorney General and Minister of Justice, regarding some alleged malfeasance by Magu, along with nominations for his replacement. The alleged originating Malami memo up to the current arrest seems an outcome of power play by blocks in the corridors of power, in which Malami appears to be an arrowhead or major agent of a power block that is not really interested in or in support of Buhari's anti-corruption fight. So, sir, of course, PACAC has distanced itself through its spokesman, Agogo Agbaho. But if what Femi Adekunle is saying is true or anything to go by, you said corruption is fighting back. I want you to explain to us what you mean by corruption is fighting back, because Adekunle also says something along similar lines. How is corruption fighting back? How do you mean?
Definitely, corruption will fight back. As you are. Somebody said, if you are bending down or you are holding somebody on the ground, you remain on the ground until you get up. Now, if corruption is fighting, that is why I said in my opening speech just a few minutes ago that you must live above board. You must try as much as possible not to be found wanting in any area.
Are you saying that there are certain persons in the presidency who are trying to get rid of any threat against them based on their involvement in corrupt practices?
It's possible. That is what Femi is saying. That is what Professor Femi is saying. It's possible, and he is very close there. I'm not close to Aso Rock. So for somebody that is close to Aso Rock saying this, then there is an atom of truth from it. We shouldn't just dismiss it. There could be something inside that. But again, the presidency have decided, like the power block, let me use the word they are using now, the power block has decided that Magu must go. But again, is Magu 100% clean? If he's not 100% clean, he is the cause.
Okay,
because
but they want him out, which is clear. They want him out, and if we're not saying what Adekunle said is true, Professor Femi Adekunle, but if they want him out, and there is a corruption is fighting back, then what does this say about the fight against corruption? That people in the presidency, like you're saying, the presidency is acting, and he won't be protected, are fighting against somebody who is meant to be fighting corruption, who himself may not be clean. What does it say about the fight against corruption by Buhari?
Everybody, Buhari as a person may sincerely want to fight corruption. But the presidency may not, because the presidency is not just one man. They are not all Buharis. There are different people, Malamis, Rotinis, Tiamos, they are in the president. There are people there that have different agenda, different motives, different ideas, different things that they want to achieve, not corruption. So Buhari is just one person.
So let me. I'll permit me please to rephrase. What does all that is going on? Whether it's corruption fighting back from within the presidency, or whether it's Magu being guilty or not being clean. What does this say about the administration's, the Buhari administration's fight or war on corruption?
Truly, let the truth be told. If you look at the indices, the percentage of people that high-profile people that have been arrested from 2015 till now and 2015 down, okay, has more. So you could say he sincerely, as a person, wants to fight corruption. But definitely fight back, because there are people that will be touched. If you touch A, for the investigation, you can get to B, C, D. So some of them want before Magu let us remove Magu. That is why Magu should have been very, very circumspect in his dealings. He has been very, very careful in his dealings, knowing that for 5 years he refused to confirm him. So he should have known. The DSS would wrote that report against him in 2015 when he was appointed in August or so. Up till now, what happened to the DSS? Remember how he left unceremoniously? Remember?
Yes,
the former DSS director. Yes. The National Assembly that also refused to confirm him. Question I ask is that this DSS man, was he righteous? Was he upright? Was he corruption free? And yes, he was disgraced. The same thing with National Assembly. Are they also corruption free? The answer is no. We have had issues where we accuse them. We have a lot of things leveled against them in terms of corruption. Like I said, corruption is not only when you steal money, or corruption is also when you refuse to do what you ought to do. Sign the paper you ought to sign, or take money to sign that paper, or sign paper you ought not to sign, or sign the one you ought to sign, or refuse to sign the one you ought to sign, or do the things you ought to do, or refuse to do the ones you ought to do. These are corruption. That's what we are talking about. Corruption is not only stealing of money. When you fail to perform your duty, or you perform the duty you are not asked to perform, that's all your corruption. That is the pure definition of corruption. So the corruption must fight back, because these are high profile people. These are party members. Some of them have gone and say, please leave this man, stop this robe, stop this one. And Magu says no. And you are taking something. So you have been accused of on that declaration of what was recovered, and he converted some to himself, and all that. The temptation is very high. Somebody said in government that the temptation in government is so high. I have also said that Nigeria Constitution forces you, mandates you, makes you to be corrupt. Nigeria Constitution. In fact, Nigeria system makes you to be corrupt. Even your relations will tell you, stupid man. What do you do? Stupid man. They'll be abusing you. When you be minister, who you help? How will I help you with government money? They don't care. They will come and line up. You must give them money. You must give them job. You must do this. You must do that. With government money. If you don't do it, as you come and they abuse you, when you be governor, what do you do? Which house will you do for yourself? You don't even feel this house for yourself. That was why they were abusing Ijija Konde, that didn't have a house, that was living somewhere in Lagos. First Republic, one of these First Republic governors of Lagos State. The same thing. Okay. That's how it is. So if you refuse, this is the man who said, I don't want to be corrupt. They are abusing you. In Nigeria, it is difficult to be in public office and not to be corrupt. I asked one first generation governor who is still like a very old man.
Hi, King. You saying it's difficult to be in government and not be corrupt?
Let me just give you the story now.
Please,
I met this former governor, military governor.
Okay.
He was the governor from 1966 to 1975. Okay. We had a committee and I was one of the members. So I asked him, I said, Your Excellency, your time, there was this saying that you people collect 10%. When you give contract, you sign contract, you collect 10% during your time, give 90 to the contractor. Contractor will probably use 70 to do the job and keep 20, or use 30 to use 60, because under military they are monitored closely more than now. But today, people give contract of 100 million, they will give the politician 90 million. The contractor will take 10 million. Then you will now put 5 million. I just give you an example. will put 10% into his own pocket and use 5% into his own pocket and use 5% to go and just do wash there and walk away. In fact, there's even one. This present politician is even gone to the highest level that they call you won't do anything. They will give you contract papers. You have contract papers to build the road or build a school or build a project. You won't execute anything. You snap pictures, bring to the ministry. They pay you money. You walk away. The flying contract, they call it flying contract. I was involved in a matter like that. One guy executed such contract in the last administration. They paid him over 200 and something million. They collected his money. Flying contract, bros. You never hear him before. Flying contract.
I never hear him before.
You won't execute.
Wonder shall never end.
You won't execute anything. So the man told me, I told him, is it possible to be in government during your time and now to be in government and not be corrupt? The man said it is not possible. The ex-military governor. He said it's not possible. He said it's not possible. I said, even your time. He said, yes, and even now it's worse. Now they have what they call flying contract.
Flying contract.
Are you not aware of the people they
flying contract?
Yes, flying contract is there. The guy was taken to Port Harcourt police. I was invited to represent him. So I went. The guy explained what happened. And this is after they didn't do any job. But they raised the job, gave them the mobilization, they snapped pictures, and nobody took them. He said when he took his money, he now went to take the remaining part of the money. That was when he was arrested. They call a flying contract. He's existing. He's in government. They know what I'm talking about. So it's unfortunate. So if you now enter public office, probably you have not seen 200 million before, 200 million. Come out, minister or governor, CEO, as you call it, the way we do this thing here, or managing director of the place, the way we do this thing here, or that this one on your own, 200 million. They go, before you know, the 200 million is in your account. And there is a flying contract. Bros, you go do anything. You go say you don't go take it. It's difficult to resist. Very, very, in fact, at some point, if you resist, they kill you. At some point, you resist. Didn't you see Dora Kunyeli? How many times they shot the woman? Because the woman said, I want to sanitize the Nibght. It's difficult to be public office and not be corrupt. I don't want to take money. I don't want to take money. You will die. You need to take money.
Okay.
I take money, let us do our business. And it happens. So it's a very dicey situation in Nigeria. Very, very difficult situation in Nigeria.
So this is in trying to explain the point that, like you said, it's difficult to be in government in Nigeria and not be corrupt. That is a debate that we should have sometime soon. I don't totally agree, but I agree to an extent, but 100%. But sir, let's look at this so-called, or the allegations that are said to have been raised against Malami. I believe you've seen those ones already. Against Magu, who we're told was whisked to a part of the Aso Rock Villa to face a presidential panel on anti-corruption chaired by Justice Ayo Salami, who I'm sure you're very familiar with as a lawyer, at least by the name and by his antecedents. So on Tuesday, he was taken to, I think Monday, or rather to Aso Rock Villa, and he faced that investigative panel. We're told that their investigations have been on for some time, and then later taken for detention at the Force Criminal Investigation Department building there in Abuja by operators of the DSS. But the DSS said they were not the ones that were detaining Ibrahim Magu. So let's look at the allegations leveled against him. The 10 major allegations against Magu as compiled as follows: 1, insubordination to the office of the AGF; 2, alleged relooting of recovered loot. Alleged relooting of recovered loot. You're laughing. And sale of seized assets to cronies, associates, and friends. I've heard of one Mohammed, whose name keeps coming up. Somebody who has been helping him do some things, Okay. Then another one, they say, apart from that relooting of recovered loot, alleged favoritism towards selected EFCC investigators called the Magu boys for juicy assignments. Magu boys. So when he's sharing assignments, he knows those who he'll be giving juicy assignments. Sir, I'm sure you're not a stranger to talk by people in the in the system, that sometimes even these investigations that these guys can even ask for settlement, just like police. I don't know if you heard anything like that before, from EFCC, that maybe allegations that they also ask for, settlement. They make money from these things, whereas Nigerians ordinary will think, oh, these guys, you don't mess with them. They are anti-corruption. What do you say to that? The compromised stance or alleged compromising by the EFCC operatives.
Yeah, that is why I said that corruption is not only when you take money, it's also when you do things you ought not to do. These things, those allegations may be right, may be correct. Favoritism, but that of insubordination to the office of the AGF. Does the AGF, I don't know, because I've not seen it in the constitution that the AGF supervises EFCC. I know that EFCC, I think, is an independent body created after the constitution was written. After the constitution was written in 1999, it was created by Obasanjo in 2002 or 3 or so. For me, I don't know how insubordination to the office of the AGF affects him. But again, the other ones are weighty allegations: favoritism, Magu boys, looting the recovered, stealing from the thief. Because if a thief, I tell somebody, I said, if a thief steals from a thief, the second thief is still a thief. I stole something, you come and steal it from me, you are also a thief. I know it's not my property, I stole it, yes, but you come and steal from me, you are a thief too. There's no two ways about it. That is the law for you. You can't take it from me. If you come and steal from me again, you are also a thief. So those were allegations are very weighty allegations, except the insubordination to the office of the AGF, which I don't know how it came about.
Okay.
But again, if he has done these things, like I said before, he has to face it. Buhari will not save him. So long the presidency has decided to do this, because these decisions, before they were taken, meetings were held, and the presidency said, go ahead. That is why you see it going ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So other ones here, alleged leakages of investigative reports that were prejudicial to some cases, or prejudicial to some cases, to some selected media. People are talking about media trial, and so yeah. Okay. Alleged discrepancies in the reconciliation records of the EFCC and the Federal Ministry of Finance on recovered funds. Alleged declaration of 539 billion naira as recovered funds instead of 405 billion naira earlier claimed. Okay.
Come again. You see that I'm trying to reconcile that figure.
Yeah, me too.
What you declared and what you got, which one is bigger?
The one that you declared should be smaller than the one that you got. But if he declared more than the one that he was supposed to declare, it means that they have to return money back to him. So, what
he declared is more than what he got. That's what I saw. Am I right? Because 539 is bigger than 504. So he declared more money. So why is it a problem? For instance, I'm trying to get it.
Maybe they're saying, okay, where did the balance come from? The difference, where did it come from?
Where did the assets come from?
Maybe
it could be capital. I'm not holding brief. I won't hold brief. You should have explained that. Let him go and explain. Why would you say I recovered 539 million? I mean billion. 539 billion. Meanwhile, what I actually recovered is 504 billion. So why am I giving excess money to government? That's a big question. Why?
Okay.
Why should I give excess money? Where is that money coming from? Then there is something wrong.
And they also accuse
the balance sheet must balance now. Must balance. If I recover from what I recovered and what I remitted, must balance. If it doesn't balance, then there's a problem. If it's excess, there's a problem. If it is lower, there's a problem. It's more problematic when it is lower. So what I declared and what I recovered, if it is lower, then it's no more problem. But if it is excess, it's also a problem, which he needs to explain.
Okay, Barrister.
Tell us how you got the excess one.
They're also, saying that he has provided evidence against some suspects. Under provided evidence or not providing enough concrete evidence against some suspects, including Deziani, Alison Madueke, for her extradition. Reporting some charges to their presiding officers without deferring to the AGF. reporting some judges to their presiding officers without deferring to the AGF. Late action on the investigation of P&ID leading to legal disputes. And number 10, not respecting court orders to unfreeze a 7 billion naira judgment in favor of a former executive director of a bank.
This other one, not respecting court order, is only him.
So which one?
Not respecting court order.
Yeah. So does this not say?
If that one is an offense by Magu, then a lot of them are guilty as well.
Okay.
A lot of them are guilty.
So sir, you having said that, if this is the issue, it's making you laugh, and the fact that all these things that have been put in this supposed petition didn't happen overnight. They've been happening over the years, and all of a sudden someone has decided we need to pick these things against him, plus the things that he's doing that all of them are doing. Does it not suggest that this man's cup is full? Somebody has just said his cup is full, we need to get him out. Just like politicians now, they decide that you're no longer our friend, a political friend, you're now a political foe, they will tell Magu to dust your file, and then he'll go after you. The day you become their political friend, of course, Magu will hide your file.
Now you agree. Now you agree that completely agree with me that it's not possible to be in public office and not being corrupt. Now you agree. That everybody has
I didn't say that.
Now you are now agreeing that everybody that can be dusted.
But are you saying? Are you?
If you are corruption free, let them dust the file. Now, if they dust the file, nothing will happen. But if you are not, if they dust the file, something will come up. That is what we are saying. That is not possible. That is why you should have known that he has, over these 5 years, that he has garnered a lot of enemies. He should have been very careful. He should have been very circumspect. He should have been
But is it not worrying? Is it not worrying, barrister, that if, going by what you're saying and what we have presented in front of us, that the reason they're going after him is not because of what he's done, but because they don't want him there anymore? So is it not worrying that if they wanted him there, all these things, they would be blind to it? But now they don't want him there. Now they're bringing these things up. Is that not worrying?
Not just all of them. Some people want him. Even as he is now, people are not happy with what is happening to him. Meanwhile, some people are rejoicing that he should be dealt with. People that he has dealt with before. Even if those ones that he dealt with, whether they were wrongly dealt with or rightly dealt with. But again, what I'm trying to say is that if you don't have anything, there is this proverb by Chinua Achebe. He said, a man who did not put an extra load on his bunch of firewood will not have an extra weight. If me and you go now, we went to the farm. I carry 10 sticks of firewood or 20 sticks of firewood. You carry 20 sticks of firewood. Then under your firewood, you put snail that you got from the farm. You put mushroom. You put banga that you got. You put water leaves. And me, I'm only carrying that 20 sticks. Our weight will not be the same. So if you put extra weight, you have extra. If you put extra load, you have extra weight.
Yes.
That is what is happening. So all of them put extra weight under their firewood. None of them, you can check their firewood. They don't have much room. They don't have a panda. They don't have a snail. They don't have something they got from the farm. Extra things they must have put under the firewood. Hide them. When we go to the village, that we use this cocoyam leaf. Put the mushroom, put them under, tie them together so that thing will not fall. You carry it back to the house.
You know
the same thing when you go fishing. It's the same thing you do. You put extra things inside. Carry some put, carry over finger, carry ngolo put. The man will carry all the fish. The weight no go do the same. That is what we are trying to say.
Okay.
So all of them have weight. That is why the file is there waiting for you in public office. Anybody who does his file will go down. There's no two ways about it. If you no do, people will do for you. At that level, if you know, the people will do for you.
Therefore, you're saying that the fight against corruption is not a sincere fight.
You know what?
Therefore, you're saying the fight or the war on corruption by the administration, whichever way you want to put it, is not a sincere war.
You know what?
Therefore, you're saying that the war on corruption by this administration is not a sincere one.
No. I'm not saying so.
No. By what you're saying, that
I am saying, listen, people may be sincere in the mind. He may be sincere, particularly Buhari himself. but the people around may not be sincere with it.
So let's look at the whole administration now. The war on corruption.
You can't look at the whole. You are look at the man first, the person that says that what. There was no time Magu said I will fight corruption. No. There was no time Malami said I will fight corruption.
Sir, can you divorce the man Buhari from the President Buhari?
Of course, now
no, sir.
No, sir.
I disagree with you, barrister. I disagree with you because whatever he does, they won't say Mr. Buhari. If he does anything tomorrow, they say the President of Nigeria.
No. Presently now. When Magu is facing his warrant now,
yes.
Is it Buhari that is facing warrant? No, they are different people now.
No, but I'm saying, okay.
Josina, I may bring you to work for me. Well, you bring me to work for you. You have different agenda inside of you. Look, we are fighting corruption in this government. Yes, sir. But that is not your dream. It's like in my church now. One man called me one day, said, I should come. He's going to give me something that if I go to my church, I will just say, hey, people will fall down. I told him, I am not a general overseer of the church. It is Sam Amada. Archbishop Sam Amada is the one that owns Foundation Faith Church. It is his dream, not my baby. So if you give me that, it will not work. I gave him the address of Amada. I said, go to Otako in Abuja. Go and give him. If you give to him, he come and give to me. I will now decide whether I will accept or not. But for me to accept under another person's ministry, it will not work.
Barrister,
it's the same thing.
I understand.
I understand.
Yes.
I'm coming. Yeah. It's Buhari's government.
Whose government? Whose government?
It's Buhari's government, definitely.
So can you say, it's the government, it's not him? Is the government, it's not him?
No.
Is the government, or is not him?
Yeah, I agree. It's Buhari's government.
But
he needs people to run it. Everybody
but he hires, but he can hire and fire. I know that there are interests, but what I'm saying,
cannot hire and fire.
Okay.
You cannot hire and fire. You cannot hire and fire.
Okay.
You cannot hire and fire. Some of them are elected. Some people are constitutionally.
No. I'm talking about those. I'm talking about those that the Constitution allows him to remove.
Like who?
Or appoint, like Magu.
Who?
Like Magu.
No, you cannot hire and fire. Magu has a secure tenure. It's 5 years. You don't know. You can renew it.
No. I'm saying, can't he be removed if the president wants him to get him?
No, the president cannot just wake up and remove him.
No. I'm saying that the president has the power to remove Magu.
He doesn't have it.
Under whatever process, but he has the power to remove Magu.
No, you cannot wake up and remove him.
But he just suspended him. That's what I'm saying. That there are procedures to everything.
Listen now, he's suspended him because of the allegation. He cannot just wake up tomorrow morning. Magu, you are fact. No,
I understand. I agree. I'm saying in the confines of the processes and procedures, as written down, whether it's about a panel or whatever, but eventually he can, based on whatever procedure, remove him. That's Magu cannot. Yeah. Even Malami can be removed tomorrow.
The law says if he's found corrupt, if he's found of unsound mind, if he goes bankrupt, he can be removed. That's what the law says.
Okay.
These people are constitutional. There are people that are appointed under the constitution, under the law. Magu is one of them, under the EFCC Act. You cannot just wake up and just get out. In fact, Magu's tenure is even more secure than ministers. Are you aware of that? Magu is more secure than ministers. Ministers are the ones Buhari appointed. Although he can also just wake up and say, get out, because I don't like your face. It's also difficult.
Okay.
But again, he can do that. But the people, he can don't wake up one morning and say, walk away. Those PAs and SAs, social assistants and all that.
Okay.
So again, you have to also do it democratically.
Okay. Barrister. So now, based on what you've been able to paint the picture, and we both agreed that the charge of the allegations that are alleged to have been leveled against him in the alleged petition that was written against him by the AGF are things that in government today, like you said, it's difficult for you to be in government and not steal or be corrupt. That in government in Nigeria today, that the people you raise those things against today is because they just don't want you there. So I'm saying, if they are aware of these things going on and they didn't want him out, but now they just want him out, not because of what these things is done, but because maybe they're not seeing eye to eye or just want him out. What does this say about the sincerity of the fight against corruption by the entire administration, or by the presidency?
If definitely people want to mess up the fight against corruption, people want to mess it up. There's no way you will say people will not want to mess it up. People will definitely want to mess it up. Like I said, the vision is that of Buhari. It's not, but you may give immediately you appoint, for instance, you appoint Magu, this Magu now that everybody say, oh, anti-corruption is fighting EFCC, appointing president, electing president. He will change. He may tell you his housing I want, not corruption. He may change his mantra. That's what I'm trying to say. But although all of them will pretend to be following the president, to be following the president's mantra of corruption, yes, because that is the vision of the man, the president. But again, the president cannot go everywhere to do this. He needs people to do it. And some of them will sabotage this thing along the line. So if they are doing this because of what Magu is doing, Magu should have been above board. That's my point, the point I'm making. When they now look, they don't see anything. It will be difficult because they may have presented enough evidence. They may have presented enough reason to indict him before the thing was even made public. They may have had their facts concrete, their facts and figures right. So why would you allow them to have these things against you? That's my point.
Okay. All right.
You should have remained pure. And when they look, now how would they catch this man? No way. How would they are looking for loopholes? No way. So that's the point I'm making. So you gave them the way, and they are using it. Yes, they may be having ulterior motive. They want you out, but again, what they are accusing you, is it right? If it is right, then answer the question. That's my point.
So hiking, is the war on corruption the sincere one, based on what is happening right now?
For Buhari, it's sincere. But for the entire government, it may not be sincere.
Okay. I want to read some comments here, and thank you very much for your time. And those who are watching, thank you for being our guests tonight. Magu, when the hunter becomes the hunted, is what we're looking at on Late Night Talk. My guest is human rights advocate and lawyer. Mr. Hayaking is our guest tonight. He's giving us some real fire in his analysis of this whole situation. Your comments are welcome, and I'm going to go through a few of them as we right now. I'd like to say good evening to Israel Madu. If I take away the D from your name, I put G. Of course, you know what we get. Magu. It says he has done his best. His mistakes will serve as a lesson for others. I doubt that his mistake will serve as any lesson, because it seems from what our guest is saying, they're all in the same game. But if you get caught, it's about who does not get caught.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this will not be any lesson. Just don't get caught. Okay. Desmond Ola Drojai says it's the usual use and dump common in a body polity. The corruption in the system is endemic. Almost all is grossly corrupt, or all are grossly corrupt, but only those caught are thieves in Nigeria. That's what we said about don't get caught. Although Grace Ikpe, good evening, Prince. Watch you, good evening. Stephen Granville says, Barrister, hey, someone is laughing at the statement you made on flying contract. Someone is just laughing at it. He finds this amusing.
It does exist. I'm very sure of it.
Flying contract sounds like flying boat.
They pay you as much as 1 billion, 500 million. They pay in this country.
Interesting.
Didn't you remember the issue of people going to submit tellers to collect what do you call it, subsidy? Sorry, fuel subsidy that they supplied diesel, and fuel. Meanwhile, they didn't supply anything. It's part of the flying contract. They will not give you guys submit invoice and collect money, collect billions of naira that you have brought. You have imported the petroleum products. You didn't import anything, no kerosene, no fuel. You didn't import anything. They pay you. What's happening in this country? It's still happening now. It's still going on.
Okay. Let's read some more comments here. This one is sent in by Imahari, who says President Buhari's lineup people of questionable character in his team. Have we forgotten the former SGF's case? The former finance minister's NYC certificate forgery case is no more mentioned, and no one ever refers to it again. He says Magu, the man who should have distanced himself from any act capable of bringing him to shame, here he is. Saraki and his 8th Assembly refused to appoint Magu, and Mr. President and his saints did everything to ensure that Saraki, does not come back to the 9th Assembly. Kofi, very soon now, the truth about Mr. Integrity will be shown to Nigerians and it will be another talking point. I think Barrister, you disagree. You saying Buhari is totally against corruption as an individual. Chuku Austin says, Magu, my son, welcome home. I warned you earlier that those people are not your friends and it's not worth dying for. You even made extra profit from them, for them rather, and they are still complaining. What else do they want from you? Okay, Adam Tokolo, good evening to you. Eddie Wanko says Magu was in acting capacity, hence and not easily secured tenor. Okay. Thank you all for your comments. We're almost done. Barrister,
Yes.
I know of the police having a provost marshal who is the internal, like what the American police calls internal affairs, the disciplinarian in the police. What the Army calls court martial. They have their own orderly room trial, orderly room procedures. They have a provost marshal. Magu is a policeman, but not. I don't know that he's subject to police rules as we speak, or at the time he was EFCC chair. But I also know of the code of conduct for public officers. I know of the code of conduct bureau, and I know of the code of conduct tribunal. However, I have never heard of what do you call it again? A presidential panel on corruption. Have you heard anything like that? I'm asking. Presidential panel investigating.
The panel I know, the one that Sage, Professor Sage is heading, is a panel or a committee that advises the president on corruption. They are not investigative panel, to my own knowledge and understanding. They are not, except if they have such powers. They are not investigative panel. They cannot serve punishment on anybody. They cannot. They don't have powers to invite people to appear before it.
That is a presidential advisory committee against corruption.
PACAC,
yeah.
And
this is not PACAC now.
Okay, is it another one?
Yeah, this is headed by Justice Salami. This is the presidential investigative panel on anti-corruption chaired by Justice Salami. Probably an ad hoc panel raised to investigate this petition against the Magu. I'm thinking, okay, some of the judicial panel of inquiries and judicial commissions of inquiry.
I don't know this one.
But this doesn't. I don't know if this is one because those judicial commissions or panels of inquiry are headed by honorable justices. So what do you think?
Even with that, even the judicial panel of inquiries, they are not court. They are not. They are powerless. They are toothless bulldog. Justice Oputa of blessed memory, JSC as he then was one of it. Justice Auta, I think Auta was headed one. Several panels are headed by even serving judges at that time. Then this one is another. This one is even worse. That is even being headed by Justice Alami, respected jurist, retired jurist. But me, I don't know. Is it to question you and take what will come out of that panel? What will their report? Where will their report be submitted? To the president or to the Senate or to the police or to who? Where will that panel report go? That's my point. I don't know.
But they can make recommendations. I'm sure.
To who now? Is it to the president or
to whoever is involved?
No, I need to know. I don't know the details, so I can't comment so much on it because. But I know that
can
something
I have
like
my constitution, please?
Magu, if Magu is indictable, the allegation against him is indictable. Police can do it. Police can do it. Maybe they think EFCC cannot do it because EFCC is where he heads. There will be bias and all that. Then you take it to the first CID. The first headquarters will do it. If they're serving policeman, once they do it, you will go through the process of the law. The police has the internal mechanism, a way of treating the officer. You go through the room trial. You are dismissed. When you are dismissed, you are now handed over to the court, just like I did to the Ikoku 4. The policemen went through all the internal mechanism before them. Now they are no longer. You cannot arraign a policeman, serving policeman in court. You must dismiss him first before you can take him to court. The same thing with the army, the same thing with the Air Force and all that. They take you to the court martial, they finish, they dismiss you officially, they remove your uniform, they can now hand you over to the civil, to the DPP will now take you and prefer a charge against you and take you to court. I think that's what you should have. So I don't know about that panel. That panel, I don't know. They are not constitutional as far as I'm concerned. They are not legal. I've not heard of them before. And maybe just for their party internal arrangement. For me, it doesn't go to any. It doesn't. But the one I know that he can face is the first headquarters, the first CID. Yeah, the first CID can investigate him. That is what I know by law. When they finish, they write their report. But I think Magu is a DCP, a BACP. He's a deputy commissioner of police.
Come again, please.
I say Magu is the deputy commissioner of police.
I will need to check.
Yeah, I don't think he's a commissioner of police. I think he's a deputy commissioner of police. Either assistant commissioner of police or a deputy commissioner of police is present rank. That's what he is presently. So there are senior men in the police that can investigate him. If he's a very senior officer, they will investigate him, ask him the necessary. They are policemen, ask him necessary question and come out with the report. And if he's indictable, take him to the room trial and dismiss him and continue with the case. That is how it's done. For this presidential panel, I don't know where they will report. Even if they take the report to the president, what will the president do with it? Hand it back over to police, or hand it over to the attorney general, or who? I don't know. I don't know their modus operandi for now. Until when I get that fact, I will not know what to say further on that. But for me, I've not heard of that before. Even the presidential advisory committee headed by this man, Professor Sage, he cannot even investigate Magu. No, he cannot investigate Magu now. He will only write a report or Magu cannot even appear before them because I've not seen any of these corruption cases where the person alleged to have or the politicians appear before them. Except if you are a journalist, maybe you are more informed. If any of them have appeared before them before. I mean, that of even Sage. Have any politicians appeared before them before?
I'll need to check.
I don't think so.
No. But PACA is an advisory body, and I think even in this current situation, they came out to say after Adekunle, Professor Femi Adekunle said it's a power play. The body came out to say that Adekunle was not speaking for.
Was part of PACA now. Part of
yes, but the spokesman of PACA came out to say that Adekunle was not speaking for them. His name is Agogo Agbaho. Yes, he said that the attention of the chairman of PACAC has been drawn to a statement circulating in the media space credited to one of its members, Femi Adekunle, Professor. The press release is a personal opinion of a member under whose name it was released and not that of a committee. If the committee, consistent with its mandate, has any view on the matter, it will be channeled to the president and not to the media. So they have no hand in that. They have no. But
I don't know about this panel.
I'm looking at. I've been trying to, as we were talking, looking for the what the Constitution says about tribunals, panels of inquiry, etc., etc. I haven't seen much. What I've seen are some articles that I can download, but I need to look deeply into it. But I'm looking at Section 153 of the Constitution, Barrister, that talks about establishment of certain federal bodies, executive bodies. The EFCC is 153 of the CFRN. Establishment of certain federal executive bodies. The EFCC is not there. What I can see is the Code of Conduct Bureau, but. That's
what I said. Now, EFCC was created after the Constitution was. EFCC was created by an act of National Assembly. It's different by 2003. The Constitution was in 1999. EFCC came into force 2003 or so by Obasanjo. So it may not be there. They are separate bodies created also by an act of National Assembly. Yes.
I think it's also been revised in 2014. I think they had another act in 2014, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, the EFCC Act,
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I know they have done some reviews and all that. They are not in the Constitution, but but the Constitution made mention that things like that can be created. When they were about to be created in 2003, it generated a lot of controversies, whether their job and police. Well, you also remember the ICPC now. It's the same way they created them.
Okay, so I'm looking at the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Establishment Act of 2004.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm looking at trying to find where it talks about the removal of the chairman.
The tenure is 5 years.
5 years, okay.
The tenure is 5 years or so.
Okay. So maybe we'll look at the date to look at this. But if going by your experience of other such offices, is this known to law that you have a panel sitting in Aso Rock of all places, sir? Of all places in Aso Rock.
I don't know about that. I have not seen that in the constitution. It has never happened before. I'm just hearing from you too. Are you sure they're sitting in Aso Rock? Did Magu appear before them? But you see, they deny that Magu did not appear before them now. Did Magu appear before them to do what? To explain to them what? What did he go to Nigeria to explain?
Okay, and what for me, part of this reminds me of the military, kangaroo courts and kangaroo tribunals we used to have back in the day. Barrister, are you there?
Hello?
I'm saying this reminds me of, I'm not saying it's the same, but it just crossed my mind. I thought of the military kangaroo courts and those kangaroo tribunals during the military era.
I don't think they are similar. What happens under the military is that when they want to do something, they just bring out one decree. They will just gather the lawyers. They will just write for them. They just bring out one decree so to enable them set up such a tribunals and do what they want to do. That's how they have been doing it.
Okay.
But this one, they've not taken it to National Assembly. They've not said anything about it. I'm just hearing it that there was a panel.
Okay.
I only read
there
about
was a panel. Yes.
I only read about the first CID that he went at their EFCC too. When he went to first year, he said, I want to be detained himself. I don't want to be in a special room. I mean, Magu himself. That was on Monday.
Yes. They first took him to Aso Rock. The panel, he appeared before the panel in, I think, one of the conference rooms there, and the panel was chaired by Justice Ayo Salami. And I think they had been looking into some of the allegations against him. But, sir, Section 3, just quickly before we say goodbye, it says, Section 3 of the EFCC Establishment Act of 2004 says that the chairman, it says a member of the commission, a member of the commission may at any time be removed by the president for inability to discharge his functions. I'm looking for where it talks about the removal of the chairman. But it says the chairman and members of the commission, other than ex-official members, shall be appointed by the president, and appointment shall be subject to a confirmation of the Senate. Three says the chairman of the commission, the members of the commission, other than ex-official, shall hold office for a period of 4 years and may be reappointed for another term of 4 years or
4 years. I thought it was 5.
Yeah, and no more.
4 years.
Okay, and so I've not seen anything about removal of. Is the chairman considered a member? Because I see here in Section 3, subsection 2, after it talks about the 4 years.
Removed under what circumstance? May be removed. Finish that place.
For misconduct.
Yes, for misconduct. That's what I'm telling you now. The chairman is included there. For misconduct. That's why I told you that president cannot just wake up. Number one, the tenure has not expired. The tenure for 4 years has not expired. He just wakes up. Maybe he just had a dream in the night. Wake up in the morning. Hey, go and remove the chairman of EFCC. I want to remove him. Just remove him. No, you cannot. That's what I'm trying to say. Because their tenure is secured by law. Their tenure, once you are appointed, you are secured by law. That's the point I'm making.
Okay.
But wake up and just remove you for misconduct.
But the act.
And that misconduct is just misconduct. That misconduct is a very big word. You have to prove misconduct. So, for instance, now this allegation now that they have just said now, it could be regarded as misconduct if proved. Yeah, it's misconduct actually.
So shouldn't it be the Code of Conduct Tribunal or Bureau rather that should be handling and pushing this to the Code of Conduct Tribunal? No.
This is a pure crime. Code of Conduct Bureau has to do with issue of false declaration. Code of conduct. No, it's not because of this one. They say conduct. Conduct in this sense is criminal in nature. The other Code of Conduct Bureau is different. That one is more of civil, under declaration of assets, and other issues.
Okay, but I know.
The code of conduct specifically has issues that you can take there. This one is a crime.
I thought it probably had to do with the code of conduct also, code of conduct for public officers as enshrined in the Constitution. So in this case, sir, if they're saying that the president can remove him for misconduct, why do they need a panel? Is it that the president, because it doesn't say how the misconduct will be proven?
That is why it's difficult. That's why I say the president cannot just wake up and remove him for misconduct. The misconduct has to be shown.
So how?
Evidence has to be proved.
So does it not therefore make what they're doing now right?
No, not by a panel. Not by a panel. It has to come from investigation, police,
okay,
EFCC himself, by body recognized by law. That body is recognized by law as far as I'm concerned. He didn't say may be removed for misconduct upon recommendation by a panel set up by the president. Did he say so? No.
It just says misconduct.
Misconduct is very, very large.
Allegation has
to be made. Mm-hmm. Then other allegation has to be proved, investigated, and shown misconduct. Then the president will remove him. They have not even removed him. They have suspended him. He has not been removed. There is suspension. Suspension, not even removed. As far as I'm concerned, the president shouldn't have even suspended him because it's still mere allegation. That's my own point of argument. That's my own point of view. At this point now, not even suspension. He said remove. They didn't make provision for suspension. Remove when it has shown misconduct. Now, the misconduct has not been proven. It is still an allegation. Is it not true? For me, it's still an allegation. Except if he resigns on his own. But removing him or suspending him, for me, I don't think is constitutional or legal according to the EFCC Act. For me.
Okay.
It should have been left.
Final question, sir. Going by what has happened, what is happening in Aso Rock, some people are asking, is the president truly in charge? What do you say to those people, and what would you say in answer to that question or the idea?
Well, I'm not in Aso Rock. I'm not a part of the staff.
But should such a question be asked? What is going on?
In democracy, no one man is in charge. Even in dictatorship, no one man is in charge. Even Hitler was not in charge. Hitler had people that it was even people like Goebbels, General Goebbels, several of generals. We are more in charge than even Hitler. Nobody is in charge in any government, completely in charge. No, you work with people. That is the truth about it, and you take advice from them, even against your own wish. You take the advice at the governor's level, at the presidential level, at the chairmanship level. You take advice. Even in my little office, there are things I want to do. They will give me contrary advice. I will take it. Not my wish. It happens. That is why you are a leader. Jesus even did the same thing. He took advice from his disciples. He wasn't autocratic. You ask them questions. Democracy. Even God himself was democratic. God said to Adam, "What have you done?" Adam says, "The woman you gave me." "Woman, what have you done?" He says, "The serpent." So no one man is in charge.
Okay. All right.
No one man is in charge anywhere in the world, my brother.
Okay.
Even the IP was not in charge. He had a lieutenant that he was using. No one man is in charge.
All right. Hacking, it's an interesting, angle you brought to this. We have to go, and we've spent almost an hour and a half. You've given us a lot of food for thought, but I'd like to read a comment or two. I think I've read this one. Eddie Wanko says Magu was acting on. Okay, I think I've read on capacity, hence not really a secure tenor. AB George Akpangolo says, what goes up will definitely come down. This is the law of gravity. All of them will be caught someday. You see, a prosecutor is now being prosecuted. Okay. You agree with that, sir?
I agree with that.
Okay.
More with it. Let me tell you something. By June, July 2023, a lot of people you see in the corridors of power today will be in jail.
Okay.
Whether APC wins again or PDP wins, a lot of them that you are seeing today will be in jail.
Okay.
I know that. Even if APC wins at the presidency, they will be in jail. PDP wins, they will be in jail. Another.
Your account is too low for this call.
Okay. We have lost High King. I will try and get back to him. We're about to say goodbye. Let's try and just get back to him so we can just properly say thank you. But I want to read some comments here. Please permit me to do that. Okay, High King, I apologize if you're watching from where you are. It happens. We run out of airtime. It happens. I apologize for that. We spend a lot on airtime for this program, just to make sure that we bring you something like this, good content. So if you want to support what we're doing, feel free to support by sending me a message inbox, and I'll be very glad to talk business with you. Okay, let's go back to those messages. David KK Egbele says, even though Magu was a victim of power play within the cabal, it serves him right, and I think that it was long overdue. Since 2016, the DSS gave a report against him so as to guide the Senate while he went for confirmation. Unfortunately, the executive made sure he was kept as acting as EFCC at the EFCC as acting chairman, even with questionable tendencies. All right, interesting take there, David. Monday Waldo says, good job. Please look for money to establish a radio station. Yes, we're looking for that money. Where do you want me to establish it? Port Harcourt? We're looking for that money. Following up, he says, following you up till the end of the program is not easy. Kudos, Shah. You're doing well. Thank you. Monday, we're working on that. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to get back to High King and see if he is there, so we can just say a final goodbye to him. So I'm just going to call him back right now. But yes, we're working on it, okay? And how you can support us is by commenting on this post, by following us every time we are live on on the internet, and by sharing the post as well. And expect great things. Trust me, great things are just around the corner. Okay, let's see if we can get High King. But I want to thank you for your time. Is the phone ringing? Is it ringing? Uh-oh. And the man has been with us for more than an hour. We have to let him go back. If we can say good night to him, just to say thank you, we will do that. Wow, I've thoroughly enjoyed your comments. All of you who sent in comments. And thanks to all of you who've been watching as well. I'm here every weekday, Monday through to Friday, from 9:30 p.m. So, feel free to join in. And also your comments, your suggestions are welcome. Like Monday, I totally appreciate it. Monday says you should find money to establish a radio station. That's okay, Barrister. Sorry about that. I ran out of airtime. Oh, sorry, sir.
Okay, went off.
We're looking for sponsors, so we'll have airtime to talk some more. But Barrister, we have to go. I want to thank you very much for your time, and you're always a thrill to interview. As a journalist, I can say that you're one of the people I enjoy interviewing because you always have, a lot to talk about. You raise a lot of talking points. So I want to thank you very much. Yes, and how is the committee work going? The police committee.
My brother, I've not even gone for meeting one day. I don't know whether they use my name to just do inauguration. I've never been invited to any meeting till today.
Is it that they didn't invite, or they've not invited you at all for any meeting?
No meeting till now. We have not gone for any meeting, even one.
No. If I will look for a day to talk about it. We'll discuss that committee. I
have not been invited. Nothing has happened. Till today, I've never heard from anybody that this is it.
That is Police Community Relations Committee or something?
No, it's police community. It's a different committee. This committee has never existed before. It's called policing. Sorry, community policing committee.
Okay. And this was
established. Mm-hmm. They want to establish community police. Every local government.
Okay.
Community police. They will be like policemen, but they are different. They are community police.
Okay.
It's called community policing. It was to move by federal government. They want to establish it in the whole nation.
When Omotekun came up, and then we saw that we were rushing to.
That's where we saw them at that time.
and now they have not come up again. It's well.
So that is it. So instead of state police, this is the one the federal government is proposing. Community policing. Yes,
Okay.
community policing committee. That is what it is.
We'll look for a day to talk about it and to find out why they have not met.
Till now, nobody has called anybody for a called me. I don't know for that for a meeting.
Okay.
Nobody.
It's well. Hi, King. Thank you very much for your time. I thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. And have a
Thank you very
fantastic
much.
and peaceful night.
If you want
God
to
bless
send
you.
me
Okay, so that's how the cookie crumbles on Late Night Talk. My name is Kofi Bartels. I thoroughly enjoyed being with you tonight. From all of us here at Late Night Talk, I want to say have yourself a fantastic night. I'll be back, maybe, God willing, tomorrow, Friday. I have something I'm working on. But if even if it sails through, we'll look for a way to play another old edition of Late Night Talk. From all of us here to you and to yours, have a fantastic night's rest. Good night.